I must have left school that summer. And I must have still been going to the island then, I suppose. Because I went to Kingston Tech then, 1964, I think, to do business studies and typing and shorthand and posh secretarial course. It was called an OND in business studies. So I did economic geography, economic history, accounts, law, A-level English, shorthand and typing. Used to do typing to music. And shorthand, we did, high speeds, we did, yeah. And I wrote a big long essay on coffee. We had to do I suppose, like they have to do at uni now, a dissertation. We had to do so many words, and I did it on coffee. And I met a girl there, well, Pam was there, and another girl, Moira, and there was another girl, Jeanette Hayward, who I became quite friendly with. She lived at Chessington. Her mum was quite strict because she used to go, but she always used to miss the last bus home and have to stay with us. But I was at college then, so still going to the island, maybe not as frequently because other things were coming onto the horizon, I suppose, really. But I remember Jeanette, and it was Jeanette who got me into Ready Steady Go first, because she had a friend who was married to someone called Clive Arrowsmith, who, I don't know if he was like the director or the producer or floor manager, but he was to do with Ready Steady Go, and he gave us these 2 tickets for us to go, and we were still at Kingston Tech then when we went up to that Ready Steady Go. And
at Wembley?
No, that was at Holborn. No, Ready Steady Go hadn't moved. It was at Holborn, so that was quite easy to get to by tube really from Richmond. Up there. We only went once with her, I think, and that must have been when we came out and Herman's Hermit was standing at the bus stop waiting for a bus. And although he was number 1 in the hit parade, he still had to get a bus back. And we sort of dispersed and came home. So that would have been a Friday night. And then I know Jeanette worked in a shop on a Saturday, so I never saw her sort of a Saturday. But she did appear on the scenes a few years later up in L'Auberge. She was pregnant then, actually, at the time. Some chap called Billy. I don't ever know what happened because we didn't see it. Well, in the holidays we were told to get a temporary job, which I got a job at World Record Club, which was in Richmond on the Green, which I was only stuffing envelopes, but there was a lady in charge who was really quite amusing. And
when you say in the holidays, this was in the
Easter holiday. This would have been the Easter holidays.
School holidays, or
Tech college,
or Kingston Tech College.
When you get a week off. Well, we had 3 weeks. It was at Easter, and I enrolled at an employment agency, and got this job round at. Well, I think everybody got a job round there, and it was only stuffing bits in envelopes, but it was quite fun because the woman in charge, she was real cockney and had everybody in fits. But where I saw the job for Fenwick, I don't know whether it was in the employment agency or whether I saw it in the paper. I can't imagine a job in Fenwick being down in the Richmond employment agency.
No. But it was, what was the job? What,
at Fenwick? Well, it was like a junior secretary, really. I had to do all the typing. And there was another lady in the office, which wasn't very big, who was the PA, who couldn't type, but she used to answer the phone. And I used to do the typing, and we got on quite well. She lived at Upminster, and she used to go on holiday to Ibiza every year with the Upminster Travel Club. Well, you see, that's not Ibiza. Where's it we go? Portugal. No, she used to go to Ibiza, but even out in Portugal, where we've been recently, along where we sit and have the coffee along the wall, the walkway. In behind that is a flat, and that's the Upminster Travel Club, funnily enough. Yeah, Miss Bates, she was called. And then she left. She was getting married to this chap Klaus. Whether that materialised, I can't remember. And then I had another lady come with me then.
Whilst you were at Fenwick's and you took all these dresses, you said you had to write an article. Tell me all about that
I had to write an article all about Ready Steady Go for Fenwick News. I can't remember what I wrote or how it came about or what I did, but I wrote it.
Did it get published?
Well, yeah. Well, it gets put up on a news board in wherever there's a news.
So it wasn't like
it wasn't like a publication thing that went out to Smiths or whatever. No, it was an internal. An internal. Because we had Fenwick's was in Newcastle, was the main one. So it would have gone up. A copy would have gone obviously up to Newcastle, and probably several copies up in their staff. Because we had what was called a Newcastle office, which was down in amongst where all the posh nice dresses were. And that was manned by a girl. And then every so often you'd get a lot of the Fenwick's would come down from Newcastle. But then they opened up a Fenwick's, they got a Fenwick's in Windsor. You know, and we had a Fenwick's.
Is it still operating?
Oh gosh, yes. Oh, Louise goes in there when she goes up to London just to, yeah. It was just, and Hanover Square was just by there, which because Vogue, the magazine Vogue, operated out of Hanover Square.
Yeah.
And we used to have to take clothes, because they were, every day they had an advert in the Standard or the Evening News. So you have to take clothes over to Vogue for them to photograph and sort out, and I often used to do that.
Yeah.
Or
also tell us about the times when your mum used to bring clothes up to her.
Well, she only came up once when I was going on Ready Steady Go, and I must have been asked that day because I didn't have anything. I had to go obviously straight from work, and my mum came up on the tube with something for me to wear. And I think it might have been after then that they said I could take stuff, perhaps, to save my mum coming all up from Richmond, which was quite a jaunt really, I suppose. And she would have had to pay to come up with it.
And also, we've yet to see your appearance on Ready Steady Go.
Oh, I know!
But what you told me about people who used to get from Devon ring you up.
Well, the time that I was on and everybody saw me, they used to watch it religiously, Auntie Hilda and them, down in Devon. And because if I went and they'd seen it, oh, we saw Christine! She was... So I was on, and I had a white and black dress on, but what happened to that, I don't know.
Why it wasn't cut, because it was not in colour, could it be black and white? Was it white and black in real?
In real...
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it was the white and black one I had. Yeah, it was Georgie Fane on the organ, and I was sat on the stage with the... That's obviously one of the ones that's got rid of or thrown out or consigned to a chest somewhere, I should think. Yeah, I'm surprised there weren't others, but you never know, because, you know, the camera would come around and you'd all have to move, and then...
And do you remember ever seeing the band Them?
Well, not particularly, but they could have been on. There is a list actually in the Ready Steady Go bit of who was on. It tells you every week who was on, so could go through that and see whether they were on.
Yeah.
Possibly. I probably wasn't into that then.
So tell me about how Ready Steady Go scouts were looking for dancers. Was that at the same time?
Well, that was probably a wee bit later on when I was working at Fenwick's, and met up with a friend called Carol Newman. And Thursday nights Fenwick's open till 8 o'clock because it was obviously a shop in London. And at 5 o'clock, or when we ever had our tea break, we were given half an hour instead of 15 minutes. and we were always given something to eat, not a meal, like a crumpet and cheese or something, but it was something. And then Carol and I used to, from there, we used to hit the streets of Piccadilly. Well, what we thought was hitting the streets of Piccadilly. And we used to, we may well have gone and had something to eat, or we might have gone to a coffee bar. But we used to go quite often to a disco called The Scene. And that was you had to go up Windmill Street, past the Windmill Theatre. And then there was a car park in on the left, an NHC or MCH car park on the left, which we had to walk through. And then we had to go through these doors and downstairs. The club was sort of down under. I mean, it was really weird at the time. But anyway, it was really good in there. It was all the music, like I'd gone on to Motown music. And that was where all the Ready Steady Go scouts were to pick people out, then to go on a Friday. And I got a ticket to go. So I used to go then every Friday. And at that stage it was at Holborn, which was quite easy to get to from Fenwick. But then they decided to move it all over to Wembley. So that was not quite as easy, but they used to let me leave work early to go. And they used to let me borrow something to wear. So on a Friday afternoon I'd go and pick out something to wear, and it looked quite, well, say glamorous, I don't know about glamorous, but I used to have false eyelashes and things on. I used to go over to Ready Steady Go, do my bit and dance and whatever, and then take the dress back. I probably worked on a Saturday sometimes. I can't remember, but I might have done. So I would take the dress back or take it back on the Monday. You'd have it on a little approval notice, so you'd have to get all that signed and whatever.
So this would have been in?
Well, this would have been 1965, 6, that era.
66 you joined Fenwick, didn't you?
I can't remember.
No, 65.
When did I go to college? I've got to work this out. 46 I was born, 66 I would have been 20. No, I'd left Fenwick by then. So it would have been 64, 65. And so, so I went to, I was on Ready Steady Go, I used to go everywhere, I used to take a different person. And then I palled up with a chappie who worked down the road at a shoe shop called Elliott's, and he was called Peter Standen, and he was a good dancer, and he was on it, and we used to go together then and have a dance and whatever, and he went on and he won something on Ready Steady Go, from only vague recollection.
Who do you remember seeing on Ready Steady Go?
Well, I saw nearly everybody apart from the Beatles. They were the only ones that I don't think I ever saw. But I saw Otis Redding, Diana Ross, The Supreme, Martha Reeves, Stevie Wonder. Herman's Hermits was the first one. Was it Dave Allen, chap that came round a spiral staircase?
Dave Berry.
Dave Berry, yes, Dave Berry. Oh, Dion Warwick, Dusty Springfield quite a few times. Lulu, Sandy Shaw. I don't know, I've ever seen Cliff Richard actually. Surely, well, I don't know. Because when it first started, it was done in, I'm going to have to move, it was introduced by a chap called Keith Fordyce, but he left, and then Vicky, what's her name, who's married to Michael Ball, took over. Cathy McGowan took over. And she used to have some lovely clothes. And she had a lovely suit, and I drove my mum mad to have this suit, which I had. She had it in, I can't remember what colour she had it in, but I had it in white with a grey collar. But eventually I had it dyed burgundy. But I remember that, driving my mum mad for that. But I wore it quite a lot, it was lovely. Really, really posh. No, I wasn't making clothes at that time. Well, I might have made a few for myself, I suppose, but I never made any for the boutique that I used to make them for. That was a bit later on, after my Hammersmith Palais days. Well, when I was going out with John Miller, he had this very good friend, Leslie Peverett, and she had a cousin, I think was Carol. somebody or other.
Again, what can you tell me the year? 1964.
It would have been 64, 65, 66, that sort of. I'm not sure if I was working down in Twickenham when I was doing this, but after I finished with him, I still used to keep in touch with Leslie. Would pop over there because they were good fun, and she'd bought a shop in Fulham, and I made some clothes for this shop. I took them over to, oh yes, she said, I like those, and she bought them off me, and I made a couple of pairs of men's trousers and a suit, a man's suit. Not a lot, but just bits, because it was quite sparse what she was selling, because she was trying to build it up. Which Peter Standen, who I used to go to Ready Steady Go with, we used to go to Hammersmith Pally every Monday night, because he used to live only a couple of stops away at Westbourne Park, and me and probably some others from Richmond would go up on the district line. We'd meet at Hammersmith Pally and go in and strut our stuff, and yeah, Peter, we did that for quite a long time. That was a Monday night. So Sunday afternoon Flamingo, Monday night Hammersmith Palais, Friday night Ready Steady Go. Although Ready Steady Go might have been coming to an end by then.
You haven't told us about the Flamingo. Tell us about that.
No, the Flamingo.
When did that start? And how did you get involved in it?
I can't remember how I actually got involved in the Flamingo, but I think it was while I was at Fenwick's, and a girl came to work there called Mary Flack, who I really got on with, and she and her boyfriend used to go to the Flamingo on a Sunday afternoon, and I think she said, why don't you come? Because it was only records and Blue Beat and what have you, and so I went along with my boyfriend at the time, who was called John Miller. And we used to go every Sunday afternoon, well not most Sunday afternoons, and then we'd go for a coffee afterwards at a coffee bar called Coffee Ann, and that was also down through the road. It was like going down through a manhole and then into a sort of room. Goodness knows how we got, well I suppose we got down, they must have had some sort of step ladder down anyway. So that was the Flamingo.
And you used to all-nighters there? And
then I used to go Sunday afternoons, but with John Miller we often used to go to the Friday night all-nighter, where I saw Stevie Wonder and Tina Turner, or Dyke and Tina Turner, and Inez and Charlie Fox, saw Stevie Wonder. And Georgie Fame or Chris Farlow would be the resident band. So that was a Friday night. So quite what I did Saturday. Well, obviously went home, I suppose. When my mum thought, I don't know whether at some stage I think she thought I was staying at Carol Newman's. But obviously she must have realised I stayed at John Miller's, because I was, I went out with him for a couple of years. So that was all how the Flamingo started, and then I suppose we moved on really. I can't think where we moved on to from the Flamingo. I was working at Fenwick's at the time. But then once I stopped working at Fenwick's and moved down to Twickenham, obviously all these things that I was doing in London really came to a halt.